Hello and welcome to this lecture of vectors. In today's class, we are going to discuss miscellaneous problems on all the concepts that we have learned till now in vectors. I'm sure after this session, you will get a deeper insight into the chapter of vectors and you will be able to solve any kind of problem that you might get in this particular chapter. So let's get started. The first problem is given as, this is the x and y axis. So this is y and this is x. There is this momentum which is at 30 degrees to y axis, and the value of this vector p is 40 Newton second. So this is the momentum. Momentum is a vector quantity and it is given by the formula is given as P is equal to m into v. So this we have already discussed in units and measurements. Now we have to find x and y component. Number 2, we have to represent this in the form of vector. And if somebody asks you what is the magnitude, then you must be able to specify that. Now, if we talk about the x and y component, then it's going to be, the x component is going to be, you can see that the angle is adjacent to y axis. So this component, as discussed earlier, has to be the component of cos theta, and this component has to be the component of sin theta. So since it is downwards, we will write it as Py is equal to minus 40 cos 30, because it is in downward direction, and Px is going to be 40 sin 30. So now after solving this, we will get it as 40 into root 3 by 2, and this we would get as 40 into half. So ultimately this turns out to be minus 20 root 3, and this turns out to be 20. Of course, in SI units, we can write it as kg meters per second. That is the unit of momentum. So now what we will do is, this is the first question, that is the x and y component we have represented. Now we have to represent this in vector form. So we have got px and py. We can now represent it in vector form. We know that any random vector p bar could be represented as px I cap plus py j cap. So px as found here would be minus 20, just 20 in fact, 20 I cap, because it is along positive x axis, and this is along negative y axis. So this is going to be the case. So this is the momentum vector, and we can specify in the vector in its this way. This is the representation in its vector form. Now if you have to find a magnitude, the magnitude is already given to us. So this is the answer for magnitude. That is, if you find a magnitude of this according to usual method, 20 square plus 20 root 3 square, that would be 400 plus 23s are 40, 400 into 3. So when we add it up, we will get it as 1600 root over, which is 40, and that is already specified to us. This is just a way to cross check. Let's see the next set of questions. Now we have to represent the following vectors. 30 degrees east of north. The first thing that we will draw is the coordinate axis. When I say east of north, this is east and this is north. So now our reference is north. So when I say east of north, it means that this is going to be the direction, and this is 30 degrees. So 30 degrees east of north, this component would be some component A, and this component would be the x component. This is x component, this is y component. So this is some random vector. But what is important over here is this direction. Next is south of west. So now again we'll draw. Now when I say south of west, this is my west direction, this is south. So when they south of west means should be this direction, and to west. So this should be 60 degrees. This should be the direction of 60 degrees south of west. Now let us have some problems over here, C and D, and try to solve them. Now in these problems it's given to us that a man moves 10 meters in northwest direction. So now angle is not specified, but just told to us that it is northwest direction. Find the displacement. So let us first draw the vector diagram and understand how the man is moving. So 10 meters in northwest direction, that means this is north and this is west. So it's moving like this. And whenever the angle is not specified, in just a direction like northwest or northeast or southwest or southeast is given, it means that this angle has to be 45 degrees. So either they will mention that the angle is 45 degrees, or you have to understand that just because it's northwest direction, it has to be 45 degrees. So now it's saying the magnitude is 10 meters. That's what it says. But now how do we represent this vector? Of course, this is going to be minus 10 cos 45 and this is to be 10 sin 45. So ultimately, this will be like, we can say the displacement S is going to be minus 10 cos 45 I cap plus 10 sin 45 j cap. This is what we understand. Now this is going to be further written as minus 10 into 1 by root 2 I cap plus 10 into 1 by root 2 j cap. So this would be the final answer of this. You can further simplify this and get it as 5 root 2 and all that, but this is how we can represent the vector in this particular vector in this form. Let's go to the question D. It says that car moves in a direction 30 degrees north of west. So now when it is 30 degrees north of west, that means west is the reference, and with respect to west we are going like this. Of course this doesn't look like 30 degrees, so let me just wipe it off. So it's going to be something like this when this is 30 degrees north of west, and this is given as, actually the displacement is 20 meters. Let's say it is 20 meters in this direction. So it is 20 meters in this direction, and what we have to find is resultant displacement in the form of unit vectors. So again it's going to be the same case. The x component of this displacement Sx is going to be minus 20 cos 30 and Sy is going to be 20 sin 30 degrees. So ultimately we can say that S bar in this direction would be minus 20 cos 30 I cap, because it is in negative x direction, and Sy is going to be 20 sin 30 j cap. Now we have this kind of a situation wherein the two vectors are F1 and F2, and these are two forces actually. So you know that force is a vector, just like momentum, velocity, force is one of the vectors. So we can have such a situation and the two forces are given to us. They make 30 degrees, this one makes 30 degrees with x-axis and the other one makes 30 degrees with negative x-axis. So the magnitudes of F1 and F2, this is 10 Newton, this is 20 Newtons and this is 10 Newtons. This is given to us. We have to find the x component of resultant and also we have to find the y component of resultant. Now in this case, if you are just asked about the magnitude and the direction, then it is very easy to find through the parallelograms law. Now using parallelograms law, that is resultant equals to F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta. Using this and this formula tan alpha, this will give you the direction. Tan alpha is equal to B, that is in this case is going to be F2, F2 sine theta by F1 plus F2 cos theta. You can find tan alpha, that is the angle that it makes with x-axis. But for now, we have to find the x component and y component separately. So we are going to use the concept of resolution of vectors. So let's see how resolution makes our work very simple. The first thing that we have to do is find the net x component and then find the net y component. So first we will find the net x component. Now as you can clearly see, this particular force we can resolve along this axis and along this axis. So along y, if I resolve the F1 part, then it's going to look like F1 sine 30 and this is going to be F1 cos 30. So we have got the components of x component of F1 and the y component of F1. Similarly, let us find the x and y components of F2 as well. Now this being F2, this is 30. So ultimately this is going to be F2 cos 30 and this is going to be F2 sine 30. This is what it is. Now we have to combine both the x component and y component of both the vectors. So if I have to find the x component, then it's going to be this component minus this component, because ultimately they are acting together at certain point. So the net effect of x component and y component we have to consider for both the vectors. Now there might be more than two vectors also at times, so we'll solve those kind of problems also. But for now, if I want to write fx net, that means the net x component, it's going to be, you can clearly see that this is positive F1 cos 30 and this is going to be negative because in this direction. So this is going to be F2 cos 30. Now we can take F2 cos 30 outside and this ultimately becomes F1 minus F2. Now F1 is 20 and this is 10. So F1 minus F2 is going to be 10 and ultimately it's going to be this 10 cos 30, which means that it should be 10 into root 3 by 2, which is 5 root 3 newtons. This is one part. So we have found the net x component. Now similarly, we will find a net y component. If you have to do that, you can see that both the vectors have their y components in positive y direction. So they are going to be added. So let's add them. Fy net is going to be F1 sine 30 plus F2 sine 30. Now similarly sine 30 will come out and F1 plus F2 will give you 30. 30 into sine 30 will be half, which is 15 Newton. So we have got fx component, fy component. Now we can write the resultant in vector form. So the resultant Fr I can say, which is F resultant, we can write as 5 root 3 I cap plus 15 j cap. Now this is F resultant, and so we have been able to find 1, 2. Now is the time to find the magnitude of this resultant. So you can clearly see that we have written the vector form of this resultant, and the magnitude of this is simply going to be root over of 5 root 3 the whole square plus 15 square, which ultimately comes as 225 plus 75. So root 25 plus 75 is nothing but 10 root 3, because we'll get it as root 300, which can be split as 10 root 3. So this is the magnitude of this resultant. And now is the final question, wherein we have to find angle between this resultant with the x-axis. Now there are two ways of doing this. The best way would be using the dot product. So we know that by using the dot product, x-axis would be given by the vector I cap. So we'll find the dot product for both of them, that is A dot B. We know that A dot B would be magnitude A, magnitude B, cos theta. Now this cos theta would give us the entire value. So A is going to be this vector, which we will write as 5 root 3 I cap plus 15 j cap dot I, because the next vector is I, that is x-axis, and magnitude A is going to be 10 root 3 as discussed over here, and magnitude B is going to be 1, because this is a unit vector. Now we have to find cos theta. So it's going to be 5 root 3 into I, because j won't count, j dot I is anyway 0. So 5 root 3 by 10 root 3 would give us cos theta. So you can clearly see that this is half, which means that theta is going to be 60 degrees. So this vector makes an angle of 60 degrees with x-axis. So if somebody asks you what is tan theta we get from here as tan 60, which is root 3. Now this can be done, the same answer can be achieved in some other way also. Let us do that also. Second method. So note down, this is method number 2. So method number 2 for this is going to be, we have found fx. fx we found as 5 root 3, and fy we have found as 15 from here. So tan theta is given as fy by fx. So fy is given as 15 and fx is given by 5 root 3. So ultimately from here also tan theta comes as root 3, which means that theta is 60. So this is method number 2 to find the angle. But in either of the method you get the same answer. According to your convenience, you can choose any of the methods. Now if, let's say, we were asked the angle with y-axis, the angle that resultant makes with the y-axis, then we can take, instead of I cap, we can take j cap over here and solve the problem. Let's take one example and try to understand these concepts through this example. So again, it's a repetition of the past problem, just that instead of 2 vectors, there are 4 vectors over here, and it's not going to create any kind of problem if we use resolution of vectors. So using resolution of vectors, if I find the net fx, all that we have to do is, so here is not a force, here is some random vector that is given, might be anything. So first you have to write all the x components together. So let's do that first. Now you can clearly see that D is already in x direction. So if a vector is totally aligned along x, then it doesn't have any y component. Similarly, you can see that C is a vector which is totally along y, so it won't have any x component. So taking this into consideration, let us write the net x. So net x, like we can say the resultant is r, so we'll write rx. Rx is going to be ax plus bx plus Cx plus dx, x components of all the vectors. So Ax is going to be minus A cos 30. Y component Bx is going to be along this direction, that is B cos 60. Cx is not there because I told you that the entire vector C is along y direction. So it doesn't have Cx. So Cx is going to be 0. And dx you can see that it is along this direction. So we can just write it as just d. And if you want to write it in the form of component, it is anyways going to be d cos 0 because the angle made is 0. So we can do that also. D cos 0 anyways means d because cos 0 is 1. Now let's use the magnitude. A is given to us as 2 units. So 2 into cos 30 is root 3 by 2. B is given as again 2 into cos 60 is half. This is 0 and then d is ultimately given as 1. So when we add them up, we get something like this. So plus 1 becomes 2 and ultimately is going to be 2 minus root 3 units. This is the net x component. Similarly, let's write the net y component. The net y component is going to be simply y component of A plus y component of B plus y component of C plus y component of D. The y component of A is going to be A sine 30 because this is 30 and it is along positive x, positive y. Similarly, By you can see that it is along B sine 60, so positive. Cy, so C is completely along negative y axis, so we will write it as minus C. If you want to write it again with the angle, it's going to be C sine 90, but it will come as the same. And D, as you can see, is totally along the x, so it won't have any y component. So A is given as 2 into half, plus B is 2 into root 3 by 2, minus C. So C is going to be root 3. So now you can see that this also goes, and we get the value of this is 1 unit. The next thing is about resultant. Let's find the resultant, magnitude of this resultant. So now you can clearly see that we have got Rx and Ry, and magnitude of R is nothing but root over of Rx square plus Ry square. The vector representation is anyways very simple. It's going to be 2 minus root 3 I cap plus 1 j cap. So it is going to be 2 minus root 3 the whole square plus 1 square. It comes out as, when we square this up, we'll get it as 4 plus 3 minus 4 root 3 plus 1. So ultimately, if you see this, it comes out as 8 minus 4 root 3. Or if you take the 4 common out, it comes as 2 times 2 minus root 3. This is the final magnitude of this particular vector. Now looking at this vector, you might think that this answer is a bit complex, but then the very important thing over here is understanding the procedure, how given some vector, how to resolve them, how to get the x component, how to get the y component, because this is going to play actual role in the problems to come or the chapters to come ahead. Now there is a problem which says that find a minimum additional force required to have the y component of resultant 0. Let us see how we can do this. So we have to follow the normal procedure. First find the x component, find a net y component of the resultant. Let us do that. So fx is going to be, you can clearly, now we can write it directly. So this is 1, so this is going to be 1 sine 30 because the 30 is mentioned over here adjacent to y-axis. So this is going to be the cos component. So this is going to be 1 sine 30, let's write that first, 1 sine 30. This is going to be negative and it's going to be written as 4 cos 60 minus 4 cos 60. This is going to be written as 2 sine 30. So we have written all the x components now, and if you do that, we get the answer as half minus 4 into half plus 2 into half. That is what we get. So ultimately it comes out as 2 plus minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1, minus 1 plus half is going to be minus half Newton. This is going to be the net x component. Let's find the net y component too. If I find the net y component, comes out as, this is going to be 1 cos 30 positive because it is along positive y. This is going to be 4 sine 60 because 60 is here, and this is going to be 2 cos 30 but minus. So now you can clearly see that 1 cos 30 would be 1 into root 3 by 2. This is going to be 4 into root 3 by 2 minus 2 into root 3 by 2. So this goes minus root 3 minus plus root 3 by 2 is going to be 4 root 3 by 2 minus root 3 by 2, which comes out as finally 3 root 3 by 2. This is what we get. So now we are getting one information, that Fx resultant is minus half Newton and Fy resultant is going to be 3 root 3 by 2 Newton. This is what we have. Now in order to make y component 0, you can see that the y component, net y component is along this direction and net x component is along this direction. This is what we know. So to make the y component is 0, we need some component to balance it out in the reverse way. That is, the component or the force that is required to negate this is minus 3 root 3 by 2 Newton. This is what we require. So there has to be some additional force in the downward direction having this magnitude, which will balance out this force and cut it, and only what will remain is this then. So then we will have only x component. Similarly, if we don't want the x component and if we just want the y component, then we will require some additional force in this direction to balance out this Fx, and that force is going to be plus half Newton in this direction.